Welcome to an AriasWave important update. So this update involves a new count that I have for Bitcoin, which will probably apply to other markets too. I will get around to that shortly in my normal market update. But this particular update applies only to cryptos at this point. So I'm pretty sure that it will apply to other markets like stock markets and other markets in general. But I just want to really point this out because it's a different count in what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Okay, so the count that I'm seeing now indicates that we have seen the end of wave 4 for Bitcoin already. Right now it's happening. This is the low. So what essentially that means is that we're going to see one more all-time high from here up to the highs before we top out. And we do get that real crypto winter, right? We see the top and then we go down. I don't know how hard it will be, but it will be the one that I've been talking about in recent times. But the mistake is the mistake that you can make now is assuming this will go straight down, but it hasn't topped yet. We're missing one more wave. That's wave 5. Okay, wave 5 of wave 5. Okay, now this 5 wave move that started in 2018, at the end of 2018, has not completed yet. We need to see one more pump. Okay, it's going to be a decent pump, but it's also going to be the last pump before that big move down, which is going to go probably way below where we are now, and probably it might even go as low as the previous wave 4. Okay, so I mean, it could go lower. It might even dip below that a tiny bit, or it might go below that even way more. But the point is, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be small. In my opinion, according to AriasWave, this is my analysis. Okay, and the reason I'm saying this is because the correction that happened since the end of 2021, right, is complete according to what I'm seeing inside of the wave structure. Something didn't add up, so I had to go back and have a look at the internals. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's better that you learn AriasWave over other wave methodologies or theories, right? So that means that this correction started off with a zigzag first, A, up for B, down for C, up for D, and down for E, right? Now the E wave, if I'm not mistaken, happened like 1, 2, 3, possibly a bit lower, 3, and then 4, 5. Wave 5 was the longest, very similar to what happened in March 2020. Wave E, or actually the last move of the correction, in this case, well, actually it is wave E for Bitcoin. So if we go down to March 2020, that's a 5-wave move, right? For the end of wave 2. See how the first part of the move was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wave 5 was like this big, really big crash down, and then it bounced. Well, that's essentially the same kind of wave that I'm talking about for this move here, right? Highlighted in green. It started off choppy and then it just went boom down, but that's the end of that particular correction, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you like the content and you want to learn more about AriasWave, please visit the website, buy the book, inform yourself. That's the best way to keep this methodology alive, especially if you get, reap some benefits from it or anything like that. So for me, that's the most logical meaning to this pattern, right? I tried to make a 5-wave move out of this at some point, I believe. Incorrect. It's not possible. I think I did that. I'm pretty sure I did something like that. It was not pretty. Okay. So best not to dwell on that. I think I even made it. I think I made this whole thing a 3-3-5-3-5 pattern or something like that. I think I did that. That does not fit as well as it does if you look at this as a wave D zigzag. Now this is where it starts to get interesting. Okay. So the two cryptos that I'm going to focus on at this point is not only Bitcoin but XLM, because XLM has the clearest of this pattern that I'm going to show you, right? And you may want to just sit down for this if you're not already sitting down, and look at it on a big screen if you can, just so you understand what I'm trying to say here, get the concept. This is a pretty important update. Okay, so one more high for Bitcoin, that could potentially take it up to 100,000 plus. Percentage wise, not that much, but just say, for example, you did take wave one and you extrapolated that type of move up from where we are now, without using other methods, this seems to be around 120,000, whatever, something around that, right? So in terms of timing, I'll get to that in a minute. So if you did want to take this measurement as timing, just in case you did, you'd be looking at 210 days, except I think it might be shorter or it could be spot on. Who knows? The point here is that basically we need to start looking at the other chart, XLM. So we'll start with this chart called the STR USDT, which is a stellar chart, which it just gives you more historical data, right? So yes, I've said before that uh, these alts move with the euro, except something interesting is happening here, which makes me think otherwise. So when I change my analysis, as long as I'm not changing so quickly from bull to bear, right? You know that I'm bullish XLM, but we need to know what is the target, what is the deal here, right? So in looking at XLM, I can see from 2015 a wave, like a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up for B, a 5-wave move down for a wave C, and then we need to see a wave D, right? Now, this seems to fit so well with what I believe is coming for not only Bitcoin, but the stock market, that I had to go and back and have a close look at these waves and understand that what I'm trying to tell you here is that I believe there's a chance that we're going to see the same move as wave A come for wave C, which will take XLM up to $15.80 using the measurements, the method of measuring that I have. That is that's like 10,000%, I believe, from the lows. It's around 10,000 minimum percent. Okay, that is a big deal. Okay, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do so. Now, the reason for this is because wave A, I believe that was a zigzag. Wave B looks too much like a zigzag for me, and it's a similar type of zigzag as what you saw for wave A. So wave A and B, very similar in nature. Type 2 expanded zigzag, right? That's an AriasWave thing. So if you want to learn what that means, I suggest you do. Look it up. So anyway, this move here, I have to talk about these moves here a bit more in depth as to why I changed my analysis, which made me look back through the whole thing. So before I go down to the other chart I have, I just want to point out that the length that we're getting is this here would be similar in length to this here, what's coming. Okay. Now it's going to pump. Something's going to happen. This is going to be a zigzag pattern, unlike any other. And I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't see this earlier, but it all comes down to a few things. So the first thing is we have this kind of price action that's weak, non-impulsive, right? And then weakening, exactly the way a correction does, right? You can almost say it's like a cup and handle pattern, interestingly enough. Okay, so once you get to the top, you'd measure roughly the length from, the bottom of wave A to the top of wave A in brackets, and then, potentially double that. And but in this case, I'm using the waves according to AriasWave, and that is the way that you see it here, right? So a bit far out there if you believe that, but after this, I believe we will get something pretty bad happen, right? I don't know how bad it will be, but there is no way to know exactly how low this can go, especially if we have a massive depression. I don't think it'll be a recession. I think it will be a depression in the markets. Okay, so there's no rule in AriasWave to say that this cannot go down anywhere, probably not below the bottom of wave A, but anywhere in this area. Okay, there's no rule for that. Okay, now let's go to the other XLM chart so we can just take a look at that a bit closer. Okay, so just understand that this is a closer view, the bottom of wave A, top of wave B. Okay, so if you take a look at wave C, this is where the party begins. This pattern here, I've had to change my count on this because of the structure here. It's definitely not in line the way I thought it was before, especially when it comes to this area here. Right, this area here is a little bit complex and required more attention. So this could be the wave D that is in question, that is the one that gives this whole pattern away. Because if this is a three wave move, right, then that means that it can't be a full correction, right? It can't be the correction I thought it was. Even though it may look like it, there are some clues hidden within here that explain it, but I don't have time to go into that. It's more for members anyway. So let's take a look at this C wave. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, if you remember this move down, it looked very choppy and weird. And why? So to me, I believe that this is some kind of zigzag here, wave 2, another kind of zigzag here for wave 3, then we have wave 4, and then another kind of zigzag here. Okay, so these types of things are the ones that make me think that this is a C wave that moved down like a weak 5-wave move, a type 1 weak 5-wave move. That being the case, looking for a D pattern here makes a lot of sense. The one key component is this move here. What is this move here? It's not a zigzag, at least not according to this count. Okay, we had like what I believe is a type 2 weak 5-wave move for wave C within the correction. It's more like a 5-wave move, and then it sprung back up in a D, E, and then C. So that there is a little bit of information that could potentially help your analysis, especially if you know AriasWave. It's very interesting, and it does change the count for that wave. So here we have what appears to be an expanding, right? An expanding weak 5-wave move, type 1, where we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how every move is getting bigger? Every wave is getting bigger. That was little bit bigger for wave 3, and then even bigger for wave 5. Take a look at the RSI. The wave 3 was the low, was the lowest point. So for that to be a wave 3 zigzag down, it makes perfect sense because on the RSI you can see that that was where we made the lowest point in terms of strength to the downside. And ever since then, we've had divergence moving up until now. Okay. So for me, this is very interesting. It opens up the door for quite a few more updates across the board. It does still indicate that I'm bullish. So I'm not telling you that I'm not bullish anymore. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I am saying is that yes, I was bearish, and I am long term. I will be bearish. Mid, let's just say midterm, right? Just for now. But short term, in terms of 108 days, because that's what wave A took, it could take either, right? And if we go back to the STR chart, as I mentioned before, the Bitcoin move took about 210 days. Well, this wave A, which is what I would measure against for XLM, it was about 100, roughly, I think it was about 108. Yeah, 108 days, right? It might take longer. It might take 200 days. I don't know. But as you know, that's not a long time, and we could be looking at from now until the end of the year, a move that goes up this high. Okay, and it will obviously be going along with Bitcoin's price action as well. So it's not going to be just going up by itself while Bitcoin goes down. No, 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 no. That's why I showed you that chart before. Another thing to note is if you look at the XLM, sorry, I'll just get rid of this stuff. This is old analysis. You can see on the XLM against BTC chart, there was also there's also some interesting patterns going on here, right? I can see like a 5, 3, 5. So for me, the low here was probably around December 2020, roughly, right? Probably not going to go below that. But what this also means is that potentially this is part of a bigger zigzag pattern, and that this also sort of shows that we're going to see, yeah, that kind of move to the upside, wave 3. It depends, right? We don't know what happened before 2015. It's interesting just to note these wave components, right? And wave components is the term I use for the individual patterns that represent all the waves in order of a correction. It's basically telling me that this is the end. Well, that correction ended around December 2020, and we're going to see one more move up before then we start turning around. But yeah, that's going to make a big difference compared to where we are, compared to Bitcoin. So it's going to outperform Bitcoin. This is something that I thought would happen a while back, but obviously this correction's taken a lot longer. So it depends on how long you've been watching my videos. You'll understand that I've sort of been trying to get the waves right. And that's something the book teaches you how to do it, teaches you all about potentially misidentifying waves, because remember, they are fractal patterns, and there's only two patterns that occur in markets, and that's a 5-wave move and a zigzag, right? And a zigzag is not a 3-wave move the way that AriasWave says it. It's actually a bit more complex than that, and you probably might have guessed that by now. But anyway, I think I've said enough for now. That's a pretty big call that probably influences other coins, which I don't have time to get into now, but I probably will make some more updates coming up soon. But I thought I'd share that with you, because if we are going to have a big bear market, what wave would it be? And I believe it'll be wave E, right? So that means that once we get a pump, we'll get a huge dump, and then you can buy again, and then we'll get an even bigger pump, because this is part of something bigger. Something bigger is brewing for cryptos across the board, and this is just the beginning. Even though there is some ups and downs ahead, it doesn't mean it's the end. It just means we're just getting started. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.